Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda.
Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita reading. We are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 17, Lord Chaitanya's pastimes in his youth. And Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, you remember the first verse? He said that by anyone who receives the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even if he is an unclean Yavana, he becomes a perfect gentleman. By receiving the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even an unclean Yavana becomes a perfect gentleman by chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then after glorifying Mahaprabhu and Panchatattva and all the devotees, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said that he completed the Kaishora Leela. Now he's going to give a synopsis of the Yavan Leela, the youth pastimes of Mahaprabhu in his youth in chronological order. And what is the highlight? Mahaprabhu, when he entered his youthhood, that means when he turned 16, he would dress himself very nicely in fine silk garments. He would wear garlands and ornaments, and he would be decorated with flowers, and he would be anointed with sandalwood pulp. So he would dress himself like that. Another thing is, being a scholar, he was quite proud, and he would go defeating all the learned scholars. So he was known for that. And so we'll start, I think, with text 7 or no, maybe 11. Okay. Then also we discussed how Mahaprabhu exhibited this, actually he was exhibiting his ecstasy in love of Godhead, but it appeared like he had some imbalance of life airs because of which he was suffering from craziness. It appeared like that. But through that pastime, he was actually teaching a lesson to the world that anyone who is very proud of his learning, and because of that pride, he doesn't even, he does not bow down before the Supreme Lord. He does not accept the authority of the Supreme Lord. then such a person is actually crazy. He's crazy. And of course, as we are reading parallelly in Bhagavatam, the Lord takes away such a person's pride by taking away his opulence. So, like this, text 7, in his youth, the Lord exhibited his ecstatic love of Krishna on the plea of disturbances of the bodily hairs. Accompanied by his confidential devotees, he enjoyed various pastimes in this way. We also saw how Mahaprabhu went to Gaya and he met Srila Ishwarapuri. And as soon as he got initiated, immediately he started exhibiting signs, symptoms of love of Godhead. And then when he returned home, he was exhibiting those symptoms. Then we also saw how Mahaprabhu nullified the offense of Sachi Mata. She had offended Advaita Acharya. It was not really an offense, but the Lord wanted to again teach a lesson to us that if we commit an offense to the Vaishnava, we cannot expect the Lord's mercy. Only when that offense is nullified will we receive the Lord's mercy. And also the Lord showed his universal form to Advaita Acharya. So now we'll continue from there. So again, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami only gives a synopsis and he directs the readers to Chaitanya Bhagavat. If you want to know these pastimes in detail, please refer to Chaitanya Bhagavat, like that. Only those points which were not elaborated in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he touches on those points. Prabhura Abhishek Tabe Korila Shrivas Khate Bosi Prabhu Koila Aishwarya Prakash Achinta Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Srivas Thakur then worshipped Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the process of Abhishek. Sitting on a cot, the Lord exhibited transcendental opulence. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare Krishna. Arunita or Aditilata Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Abhisheka is a special function for the installation of the deity. In this ceremony, the deity is bathed with milk and water and then worshipped and given a change of dress. This Abhisheka function was especially observed at the house of Srivas. All the devotees, according to their means, worship the Lord with all kinds of paraphernalia, and the Lord gave benedictions to each devotee according to his desire.
Can you imagine what type of Abhishek that must have been? They're worshipping the Lord who is moving and talking, right? We perform Abhishek to the deity. Of course, the deity is non-different from the Supreme Lord, but still, the Lord who is talking to you, right? He's smiling at you, and then you're performing Abhishek to not just to you, he's visible to everyone like that. So they're performing Abhishek to the Lord in Srivas's home. Yeah, he would sit on the throne of Lord Vishnu on the altar, and then they would perform Abhishek of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Srivas Thakur then worshipped Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Lord has already manifested his mood of a devotee. And of course, he's also revealed to the devotees that he's the Supreme Lord. That's how he was giving mercy to, he was bestowing love of Godhead to Sachi Mata, like that. So the devotees were already, he revealed his identity to the devotees. So then they would perform Abhishek to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and they would sing Gaurarti after performing Abhishek, like that. So sitting on a cot, the Lord exhibited transcendental opulence. And then Prabhupada is explaining what is Abhishek. Abhishek means it's a special function for the installation of the deity. And after installation also you perform Abhishek, right? The deity is bathed with milk and water, and he's given a new dress, And so where was this Abhishek performed? At Srivas Thakur's house. Yeah, and devotees would bring different types of paraphernalia according to their means, whatever they were able to gather, they would bring, collect, and bring to worship the Lord, and the Lord would give benedictions like that. Next. तबे नित्यानंद स्वरूपेर आगमन प्रभु के मिलिया पाइलो षडभुज दर्शन. Arunita.
After this function at the house of Srivas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and when he met with Lord Chaitanya, he got the opportunity to see him in six-armed form. Hare Krishna.
So, Hare Krishna. So, when Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya and revealed his he revealed his identity to the devotees, Nityananda Prabhu had not yet come. Nityananda Prabhu was waiting he was staying at Govardhan for Mahaprabhu to start the Sankirtan movement. Only when Mahaprabhu would reveal his identity, when he would start the Sankirtan movement, then he would come. So now Mahaprabhu had started. So after this ceremony of Abhishek performed in Srivas Thakur's house, soon after that Nityananda Prabhu came to Navadvip. So that pastime also we read in Chaitanya Bhagavatam. Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and also Nityananda Prabhu got the darshan of the Lord in his Shadabhuja Gauranga form. Shadabhuja Gauranga form. Six-armed form. Purport. Okay. Is Narsingha Prahaladeshwar Prabhu is here?
Yes.
Prabhuji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada.
Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Purport. The form of Shadbhuja, the six-term Lord Gaurasundar, is a representation of three incarnations. The form of Sri Ramachandra is symbolized by a bow in one hand and arrow in another. The form of Lord Sri Krishna is symbolized by a stick and a flute like those generally held by a cowherd boy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu symbolized by a sannyas danda and a kamaldanu or water pot.
Yeah, so we see the six-armed form. If you see Radha Madhav's altar in Mayapur, outside the altar, on either side of the altar, you have, how would you call it? It's like a diorama, but it is actually carved in the wall. So there you find the Shadbhuja Gauranga form. So and there's also a temple of Shadbhuja Gauranga temple in Mayapur, only one temple. Actually, even in Chaitanya Mutt, there's like a big, like the way you have Gaurnitai in New Vrindavan, you've seen near the lakes, there's big forms of Gaurnitai. Like that, they have a big form of Shadbhuj Gauranga in Chaitanya Mutt, outside in the garden, like that, a big form. But other than that, there's one temple in Mayapur where you have this Shadbhuja Gauranga deity. Like that's the main deity, the Shadbhuja Gauranga temple. And the only deity there is Shadbhuja Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So there you will see. So the top two arms, they're holding bow and arrow. One hand is bow, one hand is arrow. And the middle two arms are playing the flute. That's Krishna. So bow and arrow is Lord Ramchandra. So the arms are green in color. And Krishna's arms are blue. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, two arms, third set is going down, one with Sannyas Danda and Kamandalu. This is Shadbhuj Gauranga. So this form was revealed to Nityananda Prabhu. And also to, so Shadabhuja also, there's different forms in Shadabhuja also, but this is the form that's revealed to Nityananda Prabhu. So next paragraph, Isha. You're not
The form of Srila
Srila Nityananda Prabhu.
Srila Nityananda Prabhu was born in the village of Ekachakra in the district of Birbhum as the son of Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. In his childhood, he played like Balaram. When he was growing up, a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandit and begged to have the Pandit's son as his brahmachari assistant. Hadai Pandit immediately agreed and delivered his son to him, although the separation was greatly shocking, so much so that Hadai lost his life after the separation. Nityanand Prabhu traveled on many pilgrimages with the sannyasi. It is said that for many days he lived at Mathura with him, and at that time he heard about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. Therefore, he came down to Bengal to see the Lord. When Lord Nityananda came to Navadvip, he was a guest at the house of Nandanacharya. Understanding that Nityanand Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu.
Yes, this is how Nityananda Prabhu. So this is like a super condensed description of Nityananda Prabhu, right from his birth until right from his appearance until meeting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu appeared in Ekachakra to Padmavati and Hadai Pandit, and when he was about 12 years old, a sannyasi had come traveling, and he spent the night in Nityananda Prabhu's house. And all night long, Hadai Pandit and the sannyasi, they talked about Krishna Katha. And the next day morning, he was about to leave, and so they wanted to serve. Hadai Pandit wanted to serve, so whatever, how they could serve him. So he said, you can give me your older son, because I don't have any assistant when I'm traveling. So he will also benefit, because I'll be going to all holy places of pilgrimage. He'll get to go to all these holy places of pilgrimage. So you can give me your older son. So when Hadai Pandit heard this, it was like a thunderbolt. It is compared to Vishwamitra Muni asking Dasharath Maharaj to send Lord Ramchandra with him to fight Maricha and Subahu, to kill them. What was the state of Dasharath Maharaj? It was like that. It was like a thunderbolt hitting the heart of Hadai Pandit. But this was a sannyasi who was asking him, how could he say no? So he went and asked his wife, what should we do? And being a very chaste wife, she said, my lord, whatever you decide. So then he said, he couldn't say anything. He said, okay. But the way Hadai Pandit was so attached to Nityananda Prabhu, Nitai, that he couldn't stay even 1 minute without seeing Nityananda Prabhu. Even so of course he was only 12 years old, but wherever he went, even if he went to marketplace, he went to the field, wherever he went, he would take Nityananda Prabhu with him. And while walking, every now and then he will turn around and see that Nityananda Prabhu is there. So that means he couldn't stay even for 1 minute without looking at Nityananda Prabhu. Now that Nityananda Prabhu is going to go away with a sannyasi, that means he'll never get to see him again. So when they left, Nityananda Prabhu went away with the sannyasi. Hadai Pandit became like a stone. He was so shocked. I think he's just survived for a few months, I think. But he was not, I think 3 months or something. But he didn't eat, he didn't drink, he didn't speak, nothing. Finally, he gave up his body in separation from Nityananda. So after this, Nityananda Prabhu traveled with this. So he was 12 when he left home, and for 20 years he was traveling on pilgrimage all over India, all holy places. And finally he came to Mathura. And there he heard that Nityananda Prabhu saw that whichever place of pilgrimage he went, he saw there's no deity in the temple. So he would ask the pujari, what happened to the deity? Where is the Lord? I don't see him. So in every temple they would say, oh, the Lord is in Navadvip now. That's why there's no deity in the temple. So he would wait, but the Lord had not yet manifested his pastimes of Sankirtan yet. That is the mission while the Lord came. Now he's still enjoying the pastimes of being a scholar. So Nityananda Prabhu didn't go. He waited until the Lord would uh, reveal his Sankirtan pastimes. So when the Lord actually revealed his Sankirtan pastimes, when he understood, then he came to Navadvip. And the day before he came, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told all the devotees. So by now they would have Sankirtan in the house of Srivas every evening. They would gather there. So he told all the devotees that I had a dream. I saw a very effulgent personality. He came to my house. He had one earring and he had a plow in his hand, right? And he was saying, "Is this Nimai Pandit's house? Is this Nimai Pandit's house?" Like that. And then I have a feeling he's here. So he sent devotees to go and find out where he is. He's here already. So he's hiding somewhere. I want you to go and find him. So I think that happened like 2 or 3 days later. He said, go and find out. He's here. So Nityananda Prabhu was hiding in the house of Nandanacharya. So Nandanacharya's house is the hiding place for the lords. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would hide, Advaita Acharya would hide, Nityananda Prabhu would hide. It's interesting that that's the only place where everyone would hide, but still when they hid, nobody would find out. They don't go there. They go to all other places, but they don't go to Nandanacharya's home to find out where the Lord is hiding. But they all go there. That's their hideout, right? They go and hide there. So Nityananda Prabhu was hiding there and they went, I believe it was Srivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur were looking. So they went they went to other villages and every home they couldn't find. They came back and finally Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I know where he is hiding. You cannot find him. I'll find him. Come with me. And he took all the devotees and he went straight to Nandanacharya's home. And there Nityananda Prabhu was sitting in meditation, very effulgent. And everyone, when they saw him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went and stood in front of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu opened his eyes and then, they were in ecstasy, right? They embraced each other. So that's how they met. So this happened in Nandanacharya's home. So that's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. Understanding that Nityananda Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Next. Prathame Shadbhuja Tare Dekhaila Ishvara Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Saranga Venudhara. Krishna Shish.
One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
Oh, actually, my speaker is turned off. Go ahead.
One day, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited to Lord Nityananda Prabhu a six-armed form bearing a conch shell, disc, club, lotus flower, bow, and flute.
So you see, this six-armed form is different from the Shadbhuja Gauranga, which Srila Prabhupada explained in the purport, right? That Shadbhuja Gauranga is Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That was revealed to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. We'll see that later on. So here, the six-armed form revealed to Nityananda Prabhu is conch, disc, club, and lotus, right? That is Lord Vishnu, right? Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and then also flute and bow. So Krishna and Ram also. So this is the six-armed form revealed to Nityananda Prabhu. Okay. तबे चतुर्भुज होइला तीना अंग वक्र दुई हस्ते वेणु बजाई दुए दुए शंख चक्र. Madhava.
Thereafter, the Lord showed him his four-armed form, standing on a three-curved poster. With two hands he played upon a flute, and the other two he carried a conch disc.
Something like Lord Krishna showing the Virata form to Arjun, right? After that, Arjun said, please show me your four-armed form. So from there, from Virata form, the Lord showed his four-armed form. And after that, again, the two-armed Krishna form. So here, the Lord first showed six-armed form, and from six-armed form, he turned to four-armed form in a three-fold bending pose. So four-armed form, what all did he hold? He had flute and shank and chakra. Yeah, no bow now. With two hands, he's playing a flute, and in the other two hands, he has shank and chakra. तबे तद्विभुजा केवल वंशी वदना श्याम अंग पीत वस्त्र व्रजेंद्र नंदना. Rasapriya.
Finally, and the Lord showed Nityananda Prabhu his two-armed form of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply playing on his flute, his whole body dressed in yellow garments.
Purport.
Sri Chaitanya Mangal vividly elaborates upon this description.
Yes, so Chaitanya Mangal, when they say Chaitanya Mangal means Chaitanya Bhagavat. Or is this Chaitanya Mangal? Anyway, either way. Because Chaitanya Bhagavat was also originally named Chaitanya Mangal and later on it became Chaitanya Bhagavat. So sometimes it is said, anyway. So Sri Chaitanya Mangal vividly elaborates upon this description. So first the Lord showed six-armed form, Shankha Chakra Gada Padma, bow and flute, then four-armed form, Shankha Chakra and only flute, and finally two-armed form, only with the flute. Tabe Nityananda Gosaira Vyasa Tabe Nityananda Gosaira Vyasa Pujana Nityananda Veshe Koilo Mushala Dharana. Kalpesh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyas Puja or worship of the spiritual master to Lord Sri Gaura Sundara, but Lord Chaitanya carried the plough-like weapon called Musala in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll just read the purport. So Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyas Puja or worship of the spiritual master to Lord Sri Gaur Sundar, but Lord Chaitanya carried the plough-like weapon called Mushala in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. Purport. Nilambari Mataji.
Mataji, I'm reading from my cell phone. It will be sometimes it will be little bit stuff.
No problem.
By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja of the Lord on the night of the full moon. He arranged for the Vyas Puja or Guru Puja through the agency of Vyasdev. Since Vyasdev is the original Guru, spiritual master of all who follow the Vedic principles, worship of the spiritual master is called Vyas Puja. Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja and the Sankirtan was going on. But when he tried to put a garland on the shoulder of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but when he tried to put a garland on the shoulder of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw himself in Lord Chaitanya. there is no difference between the spiritual position of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, or Krishna and Balaram. All of them are but different. All of them are but one second. But different manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead during the special ceremony. All the devotees of the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu could understand that there is no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Hare Krishna. There is another Vyas Puja which is described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, where when Nityananda Prabhu came, the very next day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arranges for Vyas Puja of Nityananda Prabhu. Because Nityananda Prabhu is Lord Balaram is the original Guru. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Srivas Pandit to arrange for the Vyas Puja of Nityananda Prabhu. So Srivas Pandit gets the books and everything to chant the mantras, the procedures, all the ingredients needed and everything. And the next day, everyone assembles in Srivas Thakur's house for the Vyas Puja. And Nityananda Prabhu they try to put on the garland. They tell Nityananda Prabhu to put the garland on Vyasdev, and Nityananda Prabhu doesn't put the garland, and they keep telling him again and again, put the garland on Vyasdev, and he doesn't put. He's simply standing there holding the garland. So then the devotees go and complain to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, your Nitai is not putting the garland. How will the ceremony proceed? So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Nityananda, put on the garland on Vyas Puja. On Vyasdev. So then Nityananda Prabhu looking at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he puts the garland on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, so this is that pastime there. And and I think that's where he gets the darshan of the Shadbhuja form of the Lord. But here it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered Nityananda Prabhu to arrange for Vyas Puja. So this is, we have Guru Purnima coming up next month, right? In July, the Purnima of the month of July, we have Guru Purnima. It's also called Vyasa Purnima. So that day we worship Guru. So Vyasdev is the Guru for everyone. So therefore, it is called Vyasa Purnima. Or the day when Guru is worshipped. It's called Vyasa Puja. So you're worshipping the Guru, it's called Vyasa Puja because all Gurus are representing Vyasdev like that. So Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyasa Puja. That means he arranged for the worship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So he put the garland on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on Vyasa Puja day, worshipping the Supreme Lord. But when he put the garland on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's seeing himself. He's putting garland on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's seeing that he's putting garland on Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu is putting the garland on Nityananda Prabhu. So this pastime actually revealed that there's no difference between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. He's the same person, but different moods and different mood. Different mood. And different pastimes. Otherwise, he's the same person, right? So everyone, all the devotees could see this. They could understand that there's no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. That is this pastime. Okay, so next is Priyanka Mataji. Tabe sachi dekhilo Rama Krishna dui bhai, tabe nistarila Prabhu jagai madhai.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thereafter, Mother Sachi saw the brothers Krishna and Balram in their manifestation of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Then the Lord delivered the two brothers Jagai and Madhai.
Can read the purport, Mataji. You're the last.
Okay, Mataji. One night, Sachidevi dreamt that the deities in her house, Krishna and Balram, had taken the forms of Chaitanya and Nityananda and were fighting one another, as children do, to eat the naivedya or offering to the deities. The next day, by the will of Lord Chaitanya, Sachidevi invited Nityananda to take prasadam at their house. Thus, Vishwambara, Lord Chaitanya, and Nityananda were eating together, and Sachidevi realized that they were none other than Krishna and Balram. Seeing this, she fainted. Jagai and Madhai were two brothers born in Navdeep in a respectable Brahmana family who later became addicted to all kinds of sinful activities. By the order of Lord Chaitanya, both Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur used to preach the cult of Krishna consciousness door to door. In the course of such preaching, they found Jagai and Madhai, two maddened, drunken brothers who, upon seeing them, began to chase them. On the next day, Madhai struck Nityanand Prabhu on the head with a piece of earthen pot, thus drawing blood. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard of this, he immediately came to the spot, ready to punish both brothers. But when all merciful Lord Gauranga saw Jagai's repentant behavior, he immediately embraced him. By seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face and embracing him, both the sinful brothers were at once cleansed. Thus, they received initiation into the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the Lord and were delivered.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Thank you, Mataji. So both these pastimes are very nicely, elaborately described in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So as you can see, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami just gives in a sutra form, in one line, the whole pastime in one line, like table of contents, basically, right? So he said that thereafter, what was the previous one to this? What happened? The Vyas Puja, right? After that, Sachimata, she actually had a dream. She once had a dream that she had Krishna Balaram deities on her altar, that she saw that her son Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, they became like 5-year-old boys, not wearing any clothes, like little boys. And Krishna Balaram on the altar, they were also children, right? Krishna Balaram. So they were fighting with each other. Nityananda Prabhu and Balaram are fighting, and Nityananda Prabhu is saying, so when she brought some sweetmeats for them to eat, and they're snatching from each other. So Nityananda Prabhu and Gaurang Mahaprabhu are together, and Krishna Balaram are on one side. So Nityananda Prabhu is saying, so the deities are saying, Krishna Balaram are saying, these are our offerings, why you are eating them? These are meant for us. And then Nityananda Prabhu says, your time is over. Your time is over. Dwapar Yuga is over. Now this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's time. So, nobody will tolerate your stealing and eating and all your things. You go like that. So Sachimata was seeing all this. And so she reveals this dream to her son the next day, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. She tells him, I saw a dream like this. So then Mahaprabhu smiled and he said, you had a very auspicious dream, but don't tell anyone about this. And, I think we should invite Nityananda Prabhu, like Isi pathway. Let's invite Nityananda Prabhu for prasadam, like that. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Srivas. So Nityananda Prabhu was residing at Srivas Thakur's home. So he went and he called. He said, Sachimata is calling you for lunch today. Let's go, but you better behave yourself. So anyway, there's nice sweet pastimes there. And then they come home. And then Sachimata, she serves prasadam, first course, and then she goes into the kitchen to get the next course. And when she comes back, she sees that, they turned into small 5-year-old boys, and like Krishna Balaram, who Gaurnitai. And that what she saw in the dream, now she's seeing in reality. Seeing that, she just faints with, she had prasadam in her hand, everything is on the floor. She fainted she was perspiring and all that. So then immediately Mahaprabhu got up, rinsed his mouth, and he picked up his mother, sprinkled some water on her, and then she came to consciousness, but she was feeling embarrassed, right? So she didn't say anything. So he said, "What happened? What happened?" How could she say what she saw? So she simply just went into the room and she was, like weeping. So that was the pastime. And then after that, deliverance of Jagai Madai happened. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given this order to Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu. You should go door to door, knock on the door, and you beg people. Tell them, "My dear sir, please chant Krishna's names, worship Krishna, and teach others about Krishna." Simply do these three things. You worship Krishna, chant Krishna's names, and tell others about Krishna. With straw between your teeth, you go and beg them to do this. So when they would go to people's homes and knock on the doors, and when they would ask with such humility, they would all say, "Yes, yes, yes, we will chant," like that, right? So like this, once when they were going, they saw on the street these two drunkards. They were actually by birth Brahmanas, but because of bad association, they had turned into thugs, drunkards. There was no sinful activity that they didn't commit. They would murder people, they would rape women, and they would always be intoxicated on, wine, and they would speak all types of um, gali, right? Swearing words.
Slang.
So, swearing. Yeah, they swear. Slang. Yeah. So bad words. So, and they would fight with each other, but nobody would dare go close to them for fear of being attacked by them. So when Nityananda Prabhu saw this, he asked the people nearby, "Who are they and why are they fighting like this on the street?" And then everyone said, "Stay away from them. You look like gentlemen, right? They are really rogues. Don't go close to them." And then Nityananda Prabhu gets this idea that they are the most, fallen. If they can be turned into devotees, right? If I can convince them to chant Krishna's names, then the world will see the glory of my master Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means even someone so lowly can actually become a devotee by the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This the world will see. So this is Nityananda Prabhu's idea. So then he tells Haridas Thakur, "Let's go and talk to them." Haridas Thakur, "Are you mad? If we go and talk to them, what's going to happen? They're going to attack us." So he said, "No, no, let's go." And then Nityananda Prabhu goes, Haridas Thakur and Nityananda Prabhu, they go. And then they ask him, "Tell them, my dear sir, please chant Krishna's names." So they get mad. Actually, they start attacking. So they run away from there. They run away. And the two of them chase after Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. So while running away from, they're literally running for their lives, and Haridas Thakur, and they're joking while they're running. Haridas Thakur says, "What kind of a troublemaker did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu send me with? Today, I would have died today. Maybe I'm going to die because of this madman." And he's running. And then Nityananda Prabhu says that uh, I'm not the madman. Your master is mad. He's the one who gave us orders to go and tell each and everyone to chant Krishna's name, go and beg and knock on the doors. Does anyone give orders like this? Like that. And then they're laughing and they're running. But because these Jagai Madai were big and fat, they couldn't catch up, right? And soon they ran away. And every evening they would go to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they would report to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu whatever happened that day. So that day they told Mahaprabhu about this Jagai and Madhai. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became mad. they were attacking, they were running after Gaurnita. He said, I'm going to kill them. So Nityananda Prabhu said, no, my lord. In this, uh, how would you say, in this form, right? As Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you have not come to kill people. You have come to kill their bad qualities. You have come to give them love of Godhead. So please don't be angry at them like that. And again, the next day, again they go. And actually, by arrangement or by providence, they were sitting there, Jagai and Madhai. They were drunk and they could hear Kirtan, the chanting. And they heard Chaitanya Mahaprabhu singing. And then they saw him also. So they said, Nimai Pandit, you sing very nicely, like that, they said. So then the next time, again, Nityananda Prabhu approaches them and they ask, who are you? What is your name? And Nityananda Prabhu says, my name is Avadhut. So Madhai becomes angry. Avadhut means somebody who doesn't care for any social norms, like that. So arrogant. He gives such an answer like that. So he they drink their wine in these clay pots. He took that pot and he hit Nityanand Prabhu on his head. And Nityananda Prabhu immediately, he was bleeding. And he said, it's okay if you hit me and my head is bleeding. It's okay. Please chant Krishna's name. Madhai got angry. He was going to beat again. He was going to hit again. But Jagai, his heart melted seeing Nityananda Prabhu's compassion. Even after being attacked, he's not getting angry. Rather, he's begging, please chant the Lord's names. What kind of a person is this? So when Madhai was about to attack the second time, then Jagai held his hand. He said, no, you cannot hit him. Don't you see? He's a sadhu. Don't hit him again. He stopped. Meanwhile, news reached Mahaprabhu that Nityananda Prabhu was attacked by Madhai. Immediately, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived there. And when he saw Jagai, he saw Nityananda Prabhu's forehead bleeding. He said, Chakra, Chakra, he called. And actually it is said that they saw the Sudarshan Chakra to kill Jagai and Madhai. But Nityananda Prabhu begged Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, no, my lord, you cannot kill them. I am begging you on their behalf. Please forgive them. Please give them love of Godhead, like that. So seeing this and also getting scared, right, that the Lord is going to kill them, they got afraid and they went and fell on the feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for forgiveness. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was angry. He said, only if Nityananda Prabhu forgives you, you have any shelter. Otherwise, you're finished, right? I cannot give you any mercy. You should go and beg Nityananda Prabhu. If he forgives you, then you're saved. So they went and fell at Nityananda Prabhu's feet. And Nityananda Prabhu, of course, immediately forgave them. He didn't even take offense in the first place. And he went and begged Mahaprabhu on behalf of Jagai Madhai. And he said, Jagai, he stopped Madhai from attacking me for the second time. He saved me. And when he said that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's heart softened for Jagai. And he said, you saved my Nitai. You saved my Nitai. And then Mahaprabhu blessed him. So now Jagai is feeling ecstasy because he got Mahaprabhu's mercy. He's weeping in repentance. And Madhai is saying, my Lord, you should give me also mercy. We are like one person in two bodies. Whatever I have done, he has also done. Right from childhood, we have done all sins together. If you are giving him mercy, you should give me also mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you caused my Nitai to bleed. I'm not going to give you mercy like that. So, but then at that time, so first Nityananda Prabhu pleaded on behalf of Jagai, how Jagai saved him. So Mahaprabhu gave mercy, and then he would not give mercy to Madhai. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you have to go and take, you have to get Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. You have to beg forgiveness from him. Only if Nityananda Prabhu forgives him, do you have any chance. So yes, immediately Madhai went and fell on Nityananda Prabhu's feet. Nityananda Prabhu brought Madhai to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and pleaded with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to please shower his mercy on Madhai. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave his mercy to Madhai also. In this way, Jagai and Madhai were delivered. And then from there, Mahaprabhu told them that from this day onwards, about Jagai and Madhai, it is said, they were the same Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, Shishupal and Dantavakra, Ravana and Kumbhakarna, the same personalities. Now they came as Jagai and Madhai. And they committed in this lifetime as Jagai and Madhai, they committed so many sinful activities that Yamaraj's, Chitragupta, his accountant, who keeps track of all the sinful activities of people, he had shifts of his, what do you call them, right? People who go and bring him reports of all the sinful activities committed. So they would go to and bring him reports of all the sins that they committed. They were practically coming throughout the day and night. And there were scribes who were writing down all the sins that they did. And these scribes were so fed up. There were piles and piles of stacks of records of the sins committed. And they were on the verge of death, these scribes. They couldn't keep track. Jagai Madhai were not tired of committing so many sins, but Yamaraj's assistants, they were completely tired of keeping track of the sins of Jagai and Madhai. So they were so fed up, they were so exhausted, they were ready to give up their lives. They couldn't do that work, that service anymore. That was their situation. So sinful. And Mahaprabhu said that I will take all your sins. Simply you promise me one thing, that from today onwards, you will not sin again. Whatever you have done in the past, you have done, but from now onwards, you will not sin. So Jagai and Madhai promised. And then Mahaprabhu told, immediately, all of a sudden, everyone saw that Mahaprabhu turned black. He became black. And everyone started staring at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His beautiful golden form turned black. So Mahaprabhu said, why is everyone staring at me like that? So then Advaita Acharya said, you look like Gopal Krishna of Vrindavan, right? You are dark complexion. From golden complexion, you have turned dark complexion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this dark complexion is the sins of Jagai and Madhai that I have taken. All their sins I have taken. That's why I turned black. So many sins they did. Now, all of you perform Kirtan, Sankirtan. Then these sins will go away from me. And where will they go? They will go into the hearts of those who blaspheme Vaishnavas. All these sins will go into those people who criticize and blaspheme devotees. And they perform Sankirtan. And as they perform Sankirtan, Jagai Madhai were also dancing in the Kirtan. In fact, that was the first Harinam Sankirtan out on the street. Up until then, they were doing indoors in Srivas Thakur's home. But this is the first time. Now because this whole pastime happened outside, right? Mahaprabhu came, and then from there they started doing Sankirtan, and they went home, street Nagar Sankirtan. So then when they were doing this Sankirtan, maybe this happened after they came back. They did Kirtan and they came, but after they came home, maybe there this happened, the complexion changing. I'm not recollecting exactly. But then while the Kirtan was being performed, the Lord's complexion once again turned from black to golden. That means all the sins went away to the blasphemers. So that is Jagai Madai's pastime. So the details are given very nicely in Chaitanya Bhagavat. We read it already, but we'll keep repeating on Saturday. Mataji?
He takes bath in the Ganges river, right? And then his sins gets passed to Ganga, and that's where he says that the sinners who will something, no? Mataji?
To the Ganga, I don't recollect, Mataji. Maybe I don't recollect it that way.
That's what we read, and in the
Huh? You speak inside.
People were throwing stones at Madai, and
That's different, beta. That's different. Yeah, that's afterwards. So, but Mataji is saying, yeah, they take bath in the Ganga. But
that's where the color of Ganga also becomes dark. Something like that we read, no, Mataji? If you read that again, you can share. I think
okay.
it goes to Ganga, and then that's where, if from where there it passes to the sinners. That's what.
No. Mahaprabhu's body turns black. I remember that very well.
His body turns black. After that, he takes bath in the Ganges.
Acha, Mahaprabhu takes bath in the Ganges, and then acha, like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it again, Mataji. I don't recollect. Yeah. So yeah, that is Jagai Madai's deliverance. So this pastime also happened in his youth. So yeah, we went way over time, but we will end here. Thank you all. Hare Krishna. So tomorrow is Saturday, and tomorrow is also Rath Yatra, Atlantic City Rath Yatra. So tomorrow evening, if I'm back on time, because our reading is at 7 o'clock. If I'm back on time, we can read Chaitanya Bhagavat. But if I'm not back, then I'll send a message and we can skip. Okay.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.